hunting,
fishing,
cooking,
camping,
conservation,
travel,
gardening,
photography, family.
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 This is the Outdoor Rules Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. We're real excited here today to have a special guest with us for an episode that mostly Matt has been teasing here for quite some time. Say hi, Bob.
Hi.
And Matt's with us. Hello. So we're excited to explore one of the topics that both of you guys are very much so into, which is bass fishing, or bassing, I guess, as you guys call it. Bassing with Bob. So Bob, just to start off, do you remember how you got into fishing?
Yeah. So I lived in Texas, and we went on a vacation to visit my aunt and uncle in Missouri. So I was 4 years old. I know we were around the Springfield area because we went to Bass Pro. I remember a lady in the store wanted to get my picture in the catalog, and I was afraid of loud noises. I thought that cameras had loud noises because of Polaroids. It was made to flash, and so I was always holding my ears. My mom has lots of pictures of me holding my ears as a kid. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I was a pretty shy kid. And
is that the short story of your modeling career?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, I was definitely not going to be a model. And but no, that would have been cool to have an old catalog with me in it. But no, I was too scared as a kid. But while we were down there, we went to visit an old hog farm. And it had all kinds of ponds, bluegill, catfish, everything. But I remember my first bluegill. I remember having a worm, having the bobber, throwing it out there. You know, my dad was helping me. I remember watching the bobber go down and seeing the line moving around. And, you know, it was so much fun. That memory's imprinted in my brain forever. I remember going around the farm, catching catfish and stuff too. I do remember an old farm dog. And I never understood. My dad's like, don't touch that dog. Don't mess with that dog. It's just an old farm dog. He was really friendly, and I was wanting to pet him, but he had ticks all over him. I'm too little. I'm a little kid, didn't know. But I know he had ticks and fleas all over him. Some poor old mangy dog just wanted to be buddies. But no, that was really the start of it in Missouri. And just ever since then, just really got into fishing.
So then how did, when did the bass bug, when did you catch that? So
bass was when I was about 7 or 8 years old. There was an old plantation that they turned into a state park. And I lived in Sugar Land at the time, and it was called Brazos Bend State Park. It was brand new, and they had just fixed it up and made it for visitors and everything. But there were a bunch of ponds or lakes, like 7 or 8 ponds or lakes on there. And, we would just walk around and fish these different ponds. But I remember throwing the old purple worm was the hot lure at the time, but just throwing old purple worm at those bass and just catching all kinds of bass. Nothing real big, a lot, a 2-pounder to me at that age was a big one. But now I remember the alligators we fished for. There were bowfin around. We called them grinnell. I remember when I was, really little, I had just a piece of junk rod and reel that I know my dad didn't want to get me anything expensive, but there was this grinnell about 8 pounds, and I had caught it. I remember my dad lifting it out of the water, and the thing went nuts. It started flopping everywhere. My little reel just exploded and flew off of the rod. The rod broke. It was just a mess. I was sitting there crying, and my dad actually started getting me some decent gear after that. But caught a lot of fish, just a lot of bass. Just having success that early really, really got me.
And then how did you end up here in central Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, yep. So my dad worked for AT&T, and we lived in Houston at the time. And he had to be transferred either to Dallas, which he had been working there for a few months before, or Pennsylvania. And so my mom's parents actually lived in Downingtown, and they decided he didn't like Dallas at all. And I don't blame him. I'm glad we didn't go there. So it just wasn't really ideal for us. And we had family up here. My mom's parents were here. My mom's brother, sisters were here. So it was just the move to follow work and get transferred up here to the Harrisburg area. We've been here ever since. So that was when I was about 8 or 9 years old. So been here a long time now.
Yeah. Grew up fishing like Pincho.
Not really. So really I grew up fishing County Gwinnett Creek. I lived within walking distance of that. So I walked down there pretty much every night in the summertime. and fished for rock bass and smallmouth and, whatever would bite, just throwing a little ultralight gear. And that was just a lot of fun. I remember catching smallmouth and how much harder they seemed to pull, especially out of the current. Didn't fish a lot of lakes around here. We didn't have a boat or anything, so we never really covered a lot of water. That way I was kind of limited to where I could walk on the bank or wade in a creek. We did wade creeks a lot. And that was always a lot of fun. So, but growing up, I fished really for just about anything I could at the time. I didn't really get into bass fishing now as hard as I am now until the last maybe 20 years or so.
Yeah. You always fished the opener trout and everything.
Yeah, trout. I got into trout a little later. I was probably 16 or 18. I had friends that were into trout, so we would go to his camp and we would go trout fishing a lot. And, trout was always kind of that thing leading up to bass. Like bass weren't quite eaten yet. I wasn't fishing pre-spawn. I was just fishing from the bank. I couldn't cover water, so I couldn't get out there and get pre-spawn bass and stuff like I would do today. But yeah, it was just something to do until the bass started biting and I could get to them and wade in that cooler water, stuff like that.
So then you ended up going to Mansfield with Mike?
I did, yep. Yeah, eventually ended up in Mansfield. I was always into fishing, and somehow my mom found that Mansfield had like a fisheries program. So we went up there to visit, and I fell in love with that place. I mean, I would love to be up there now. It's just, I like the open area, the country. There's plenty of hunting, plenty of fishing. It's just a beautiful area up there. So went up there and started. I had already done some courses at Hack for a couple of years, just kind of getting general gen ed courses done. But really started concentrating on the fisheries up there, and met Mike and the whole squad up there. So.
What year was that, Bob?
I went there in 2000.
So Mike would have started in 98.
Yeah, they were a couple of years there.
So that means I probably would have met you in 2000. Did you live with them right away?
No, I lived in the dorms for the first year. Pretty sure, the first full year I was there. So I went in the fall of 2000, and I didn't move into the fish house with those guys until that summer of 2001.
Yeah, so you just went in the fall of 2000, 2001.
Yep.
So that's probably when I met you, in the fall of 2001.
Yeah, we would have met in 2001. And I don't think we really hung out much. I mean, you were probably there to visit a few times, but we didn't really hang out until that summer.
I mean, I'd go up to small game hunt and we'd putz around. I don't remember. Did you? I guess you probably did some of that with them.
Yeah, I think we did some hunting together. I do remember him going over to camp. You guys making plans to go to camp, so he would go over there a lot. But yeah, it was. We did all kinds of stuff together when we were in the house. So.
Stuff we're not going to talk about.
Be discussed on this podcast. Right. On a family program. So Mike graduated out.
Yes.
And then moved out to Montana.
Yep.
And but you and Matt kept up your relationship.
Yeah. So I actually had
budding bromance.
I had another semester to go, so I had some more classes to finish that fall of 2002. So after they graduated that summer. Really, I think I met Matt when we were all fishing Cowanesque.
I was going to say probably the spring of 2002.
Yeah.
You don't think you fished 2001 with any of those guys?
I don't think so. I mean, we fished from the bank and stuff.
I didn't know if, like, when I brought the boat up to fish with Mike, if you fished with Landis or any of the other ones.
I mean, we went ice fishing and stuff, and we fished spillways a lot.
I hated ice fishing. I didn't go do that.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. Still doesn't do that.
Yeah, we would go fish the spillways and things, and really just there were ponds everywhere. I mean, one of the first times I remember fishing with Mike was at Nessmuck. We went early in the spring, and the perch bite was on. They were spawning, and it was just phenomenal. I mean, it's probably some of the best perch. I didn't even realize at the time how good that was.
Mm-hmm.
But they had those jumbos in there, and they were everywhere. And it was awesome. We got a bunch of perch, cleaned them up, had a big fish fry. That was really cool.
You guys had a fish fry like once a month. You used to have a weekend schedule as to what you were going to eat. It was like wings one weekend, fish fry another.
Yeah, we would ice fish and clean them all winter and have them ready for
So what boat were you hauling up there? Dad's Miracraft?
Oh, yeah. We used to take the green weenie. The green weenie. The old green weenie.
With the motor run?
I think the first time I remember having Bob.
Time?
Oh, yeah. The first time I remember having Bob in the green weenie was that summer I came up. Mike had graduated.
Yeah.
And I came up to fish with you, just you and me in June.
Yep. Because we all fished together in May.
Right.
I was with Landis and you were with Mike.
Right.
And
now, is that the trip where I threw the M&M from one boat?
Yes.
And who caught it?
I think I caught it.
In your mouth.
I thought I threw it to you, but
no, it was the other way around.
Was it? I think, it was impressive.
On the move.
While we
were idling.
Yep.
Two boats, a couple far enough apart that it was a pretty good. I threw an M&M and he caught his mouth in the other boat.
As I said, budding bromance.
That's right. And it was meant to be from then on. But no, anyway, I came up in June. Mike he was probably out west.
Yeah.
He was doing an internship in Yellowstone. And I come up just to fish with you with the green weenie. And we launched that thing and I started down the lake and it used to do this ticking noise. Bob looks at me and goes, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, don't worry about that. It's been doing that for years."
What's that ticking noise? That means it's running. It ran like a top, man. It got us down.
And we caught, how many fish did we catch that? One of those days was really good. We were up to like 70 something.
I want to say 71 or 72. It would have been over 100 if I would have just
switched to topwater in the morning.
Topwater.
Yeah. Sometimes
this will be a theme.
Yeah, this is definitely a theme. Matt's catching fish one after another, and Bob decides he's going to change lures to something else. It drives me crazy.
Yes.
We call it you're leaving fish to find fish.
Yes.
This type of deal. We did that at camp this year. So Matt and I were catching some trout, and we're like, maybe we should go up here and try up here. We went up there and fished for like 15 minutes. I'm like, there we did it. Left fish to find fish.
Yep.
Makes no sense. So then, I mean, you graduated 02?
Yep.
02?
Yep, winter of 02. And I think, after that, just kind of worked some part-time jobs and stuff, did some under-the-table stuff. But I always, really, for me, I remember as a kid, I had an uncle who was a game warden. And he went up to Canada every year. And I remember being, 10 years old, shortly after we moved up here. My dad would go up with him, and I'd see pictures of all these fish they were holding. I was like, man, I want to go fish that. And I remember just them always talking about Canada, and it's the lake we go to now. And they were always like, you got to be 12 years old before you go. Well, my uncle, actually, he passed away. He got cancer, and he died when I was like 11 or 12, like right in that time that I would have gone. So I was like, man, I really want to go. So years and years went by, and I was in high school. I think I was 16 or 17, and finally talked my dad into going to the outdoor show. And he remembered there were some other lodges on this lake that they used to go to, and he recognized the one. So we started talking to some of the lodge owners, and the place that we go to today, we found at the outdoor show, and just happened to be talking to them, and they were like, "Yeah, come on up, check it out." So I talked them into going, and my first trip was in '95. I was a senior. I just started my senior year, and I think I went to school for like 2 weeks. And then I guess I was out of school for a week just to go to Canada. And then from there, like that was really when it really got bad for the bass fishing. And then from there, it carried over. But like even after graduating, like I went to Canada every single year. And, that lake is just full of largemouth. And really, it's a fish factory. And, after I graduated, I'd still go up there every year, every summer, spring, whenever I could go. And that kept the addiction going and just kept getting worse and worse after that. So,
well, you finally got the fish out of a boat there, too.
Yep, that was really the first time I did fish out of a boat. We had the little rental boats and, take a little 12-foot V bottom with a little 10-horse on it. And you didn't need much. It's not a big, deep lake or anything. It's really a shallow lake. Just go find some weeds and go drift around and just, you're not even casting the targets or anything. You're just kind of floating around and casting. So that was very successful, very easy fishing. So that just really, there's always that positive reinforcement whenever you're doing that. And it's just too much fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish in that lake.
Is it all largemouth or there's smallmouth in it too?
There's smallmouth. There's always been some smallmouth, but lately the smallmouth have been really taking over. I mean, there's a lot of smallmouth now. So you can tell over the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, like the population just seems to grow every year. It's almost like it's...
And size.
Yeah, they are growing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Because I think the first time we went was 2003.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because we took the
green weenie up there.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we caught the fire out of them too. That one day it was so windy, we just went back in this little back area throwing spinner baits all day.
Yeah, the only thing you could throw was something you could move. It was that when it was like 30 miles an hour. All you had to do is drift with the wind and throw with the wind at your back. You couldn't fish any other way, and you still caught fish about every 3 or 4 casts.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, it doesn't have a ton of big fish in it, but it's easy to catch fish. You're going to catch, 1.5 to 2 pounders all day. And we used to have, we would make a deal to say, how fast can we get to 50? We're not going into to catch or going for breakfast until we catch 50 fish in a boat, and we'd be done by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, They weren't giants, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, you have quite some stories up there with that group of friends of yours.
Yeah, we had.
Didn't one of them lose a motor one time?
Yeah, sure did. Yeah,
His own motor or rent-a-boat motor?
It was a rent-a-boat motor.
What did the company say?
They weren't very happy. And I will say that the owners sold the place the year or two after that. So, yeah, they weren't exactly. I think the insurance took care of it. But, yeah, that was a tough conversation that I had to have. Our buddy lost a motor. We still don't know what happened. Nobody was with him. He was by himself. And that one, only he knows what happened with that. So.
So that 03 trip kind of kicked off your guys.
Yeah, so I know we obviously fished 02 in June. Did we do Cowanesque the next year then? Just you and I?
So I think that was the year we went up. I'm pretty sure Mike called the Lakeview?
Yeah.
And it was around Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, you're the luckiest person I've ever talked to. Somebody just canceled 2 minutes ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the room. So we went up with Mike over Memorial Day.
It was me and you and Mike.
I think it was just 3
in the Green Weenie.
Yeah, in the Green Weenie in 2000.
How long? Yeah, we had that a while.
Yeah.
And just so we're all aware, the Green Weenie was like 16 foot?
Yeah, it's a 16-foot Miracraft V that Dad, back when I was probably early high school or, I don't know, probably 12 to 15 years old, somewhere in that time frame, he decided that he wanted to turn it into essentially a bass boat and put plywood decking on it. So it had a front and rear deck. It was just a 3-bench across John boat essentially before that he decked out, which added probably doubled or tripled the weight of the boat. And did it have a 40? I think it had a 40 horse Mercury on it.
2-stroke.
That had the nicest little tick you ever want. I actually miss the ticking sometimes.
I do too. It was a classic.
Ticking. It was cable steer too. Do you remember that? Had the pulleys and the rubber cables going back.
That we caught a lot of fish out of that boat. That might have been the ugliest damn boat you ever wanted to see, but we caught fish in that boat.
You got in the sticks and the trees with that thing.
Oh yeah,
you weren't afraid to scratch.
No, I didn't. There was nothing to ruin.
No.
I will say though, I mean, with you guys, you might not have been as gear centric.
No, back then I wasn't gear centric.
There was no way you were holding the amount of gear in that boat.
No.
There was no rod storage. There was no.
No. I went out there with maybe one casting rod, and one spinning rod, and that was it. And we threw probably, I would bet you, at least the first couple of years, I would bet you 90% of the time we were throwing tubes.
Tubes and spinnerbaits. I remember throwing spinnerbaits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford gear at that time.
No.
I was just too young and didn't have any money. I'm sitting there fresh out of college in debt. It's last thing you can do is afford to buy a fishing rod. Yeah, I only remember under 2 rods, like you said.
Yeah.
I threw a tube on a spinning rod.
Every once in a while, I'd throw a jig.
Yeah. I never threw jigs much, but I remember throwing spinnerbaits a lot. But yeah, simpler times for sure.
Yeah, what's funny is I feel like we caught just as many fish back then as we do now with all the gear we have. Now sometimes there's more gear in the boat than the boat's worth.
My favorite question for bass fishermen is like, how many lures do you think you own that you're never gonna even throw?
I'm gonna say one word, and Bob's gonna dancing eel.
Yes, yeah, that's one of my regret purchases. Bill Dance got me on that one.
Well, Pop Grant always said.
That's right.
And he caught me.
Yeah, that's right.
I was embarrassed to stand in the line to pay for that thing. It was so bad. So bad.
You actually did throw it. I did. I think I was with you.
Threw it at Speedwell.
Yeah.
And I think I caught a little pickerel or something on it.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid little, it's like a crankbait lip, and then it's got like this plastic body. It looks like a long tadpole. It's awful. I'm going to find him, and we're taking him to Canada.
Oh, they'll catch fish up there.
Yep.
So we're clear, Pop Grant's saying was a good fishing lure doesn't have to catch a fish; it just has to catch a fisherman.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so from that point, then you guys you started in Canada, and then you always did a yearly trip to.
Yeah, I mean,
we started on a yearly trip to
We
Cowanesque.
essentially started in Cowanesque, and we've continued that trip. Have we ever? I know there was a year where one or the other didn't go, but have we ever missed a year since then?
I don't think so.
That I can think of.
I was called from the bullpen one year to ride around in the boat with Bob.
Yeah, what happened that year?
I don't know.
Did I have a kid or something?
You must have had a kid. You couldn't go. 2007, I want to say.
I want to say it was 9. I think
9?
It was 2009.
Okay, 9.
Because I bought the boat in the summer of 2008.
Well, you're jumping ahead, though.
And we went.
That's
in April of 2009.
No, you went with him in April, but we still went in May that year.
Oh yeah, we did go back up.
Yeah, you just went early.
Oh,
yeah.
We did go early. That I can't confirm.
Cold. I think
you caught 3 fish.
Caught 3 fish, but they were giants.
They were big
the
fish.
First fish in the first 10 minutes was a 513 or something.
Yeah.
I caught a 3.5 smallmouthed by the bridge, and then another 5-pounder right there by the trees.
It's amazing that's that long ago, and you can remember where you caught them, what you threw.
I know exactly what I was throwing, but don't ask me my kids' eye colors. I can't remember.
This is
or
like
birth dates.
I can't remember anything.
This is like when you listen to old pitchers, they could tell you every pitch they've ever thrown in what situation. It's just kind of like that. You guys know the exact pitch and where and when.
It's funny how that sticks. Like it's
But we've also gone through boats over the years, so we had to start off with a green weenie.
Yep.
And at some point, for some reason, Dad decided to let Mike take that to Montana. Yep. And then when that happened, we didn't really.
I had the tracker.
You bought a tracker then.
Yep, I had the tracker. I forget what year I bought that. I want to say that was probably 2004 or 5.
And that's about when Mike took the boat. It was like the boat disappeared. The green weenie went to Montana, and then somehow, just by luck, you happened to buy a tracker. So then we still had a boat to fish.
I bought a bow and a boat on the same day, and I can't remember if I told you that or if I told Mike. I think I told Mike, and Mike's like, "Man, that's a great day." But I got a boat, I got the bow tech, and I got the tracker the same day.
Yeah, that is a good day. And I think the general we caught a lot of fish out of that tracker too.
Yeah, we did that. I remember that was the trip where I rolled that one off of the point, and I think it was probably a 6-pounder.
Oh yeah, you were angry.
Big swirl. Oh man, I'll never forget that.
That was right at the end of the trip.
Right at the end of the day. They were relating to horizontal wood, and that was pitched it right up there to a piece of wood, and I thought I was stuck.
You were mad. I remember that.
Stuck in my crawl.
Bob's a little more even keeled than we rule, so for him to get mad, it must have been bad.
He was frustrated. Yes. But yeah, Cowanesque has become a yearly. I don't want to miss it. I don't care what the weather's doing. The only thing that stops us is if they close the lake for high water, which almost happened this year.
So that's kind of your guys now. I mean, your year starts off. No, your year starts in Gaston, right?
Well, that's new, but yeah,
relatively new. I think the first time you went down there was 22.
Yeah, that sounds right. It was either 4 years or 5 in a row now.
Yeah.
We go mid-April to Gaston.
Yeah. So I'm really fortunate. My wife's parents have a house down there on Gaston. They bought it in I want to say 2018, or the winter of 2017, somewhere in there. And we get to go down there. It's perfect. It's awesome. He's got a boathouse there. It's a nice level lot. He's got a bass boat down there. Just on the lift, you just pretty much hook up the electronics and charge the batteries when you get there, and then you don't have to worry about towing a boat and launching a boat. You just go fishing. So it's a totally different kind of fishing than around here. So
yes, no structure.
It definitely took us a while to figure out. No weeds. It's
the only structure is boat docks.
Yeah, boat docks, and there's ledges and stuff like that and points that we're finding. But I'll say that somebody stocked spotted bass down there. And, when I first started fishing, we'd catch a couple little ones, but that population has grown exponentially too. And every time we go, it's...
Oh, yeah.
We catch a handful of largemouth, but we'll catch hundreds of spotted bass. It's just, they're insane. And they're getting bigger, and they're They're a lot
Yeah,
of
you
fun,
caught
too.
2 4.5 pounders this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, they were nice. Which those are the biggest I've ever seen. I know there are big
Mhm.
ones in there, but yeah, this was a good year for size.
Yeah, that trip's become something I look forward to. Also, we've had some last 2 years. The weather's kind of fought us a little, but we
Yeah.
still managed to catch fish.
Yeah. Last year was crazy when we found them in the current around that one point. I mean, the wind was blowing, 30, 40 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and it was just so much current. They were just balled up around this one point, and we were catching them on Ned rigs and drop shots. It was crazy.
Yeah, swim baits.
I think the first fish you caught was a catfish, and then you caught a big walleye or sauger.
I don't even know what
it
that was. We left it go. If it was a sauger, it might have been a saw guy, to be honest.
Saw guy, yeah.
And if it was, it might have been the state record. It was big.
It was a nice one. Yeah.
We're not walleye fishing, so we threw it back.
Bassholes.
That's right.
So yeah. I will say, Bob, you have started at least targeting some crappies when you get into them now, right?
Yeah, I've really tried to get, for years and years, and Matt's always yelling at me. He's, I want to catch crappie. I'm sitting there in the back of the boat going, what is this nitwit doing? I don't even want to bother with these stupid little fish. And then we catch, I don't know, big stripers, and you want to go after 15-pound stripers, and I still want to go catch 2-pound bass, which I can't explain it. But it's just the way it is. But yeah, I've really tried
15 to 20-pound stripers on topwater in a freshwater lake.
Yeah.
And Bob doesn't want to fish for them.
It's pretty fun, but but no, I've really, for a while, I was really into bass. I'd catch a muskie or something, and I'd be like, no big deal. But lately, I've really tried to enjoy other fish, and the crappie fishing we did, was it 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's 2 years ago.
Was just phenomenal, and I really enjoy that. We got into good crappie at Gaston too.
Yes.
And I just to have the gear, purposely take light gear so you can go for crop. That's something I never did. I always had bass gear, so it never appealed to me. But I started carrying lighter gear. And I do enjoy crappie fishing, so they are pretty fun when you find a big school of them.
Yeah, and we now, when we find, if we're bass fishing and we catch one, we stop and actually, a lot of times we'll stop and fish for crappies.
Yeah.
If the live scope's working, which this spring was fighting me because there's some electrical connection issue, we'll look around and see what we see, and sometimes we'll make a decision based on, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
So, and we did catch, I had a pretty good run of crappie fishing this spring.
Yeah.
You were catching bass on jigs, and you couldn't get away. You couldn't make yourself stop.
Yeah, that was bad. That was just, yeah. But that one spot, we fished for crappie quite a bit. What, a good hour and a half? It was almost every cast off of that one spot. Yeah, a couple of years ago, that was just insane.
Yeah, Bob was in the back. I was in the front, and he was in the back. And after a while, he's back there. He's like 16, 17, 18. I finally said to him, Bob, you had to have caught more than 18 crappies by now. Oh, no, that's 18 casts in a row.
That was without a lure on it.
Yeah, then he was catching them just on a plain jig head, no lure.
A little blue jig head.
Oh, yeah.
Just a bare hook.
Was that Gaston or
No, that was
Cowanesque?
That was upstate. That was.
You caught some big ones in Gaston, though, didn't you? Didn't you catch some 2.5 pounders?
Yeah. One day we caught. That was one of our first trips.
Yeah, that was the first trip to
It
Gaston.
was muddy.
And you caught a 2.5 pound crappie, and you didn't care.
Yeah, I caught it on a jerkbait fishing for bass. It was a 2.6. I remember because we had caught. I think you caught like a 2.1 and a 2.2 the day before, and
something like that.
I found this school on these stumps, and I wasn't into them at the time. But
yeah, I wanted to fish for him more.
Yeah,
He didn't.
yeah, and I happened to catch one by accident.
What I remember about that trip is we didn't know what we were doing.
No,
the fishing was tough in general.
It was.
We weren't really catching a lot of bass, and so we finally found crappies, and I was like, "Oh boy, fish! All I want to do is catch some of these." And he wanted to move on.
Yep. Looking for bass. Yeah.
So, now I'm in the back of the boat casting as far as I can cast to try to reach this stump. And he's driving away from him.
He's going with that trolling motor.
After he caught a 2.5 pounder, he's driving away from him.
Guys will fish their whole lives and not catch a 2.5 pound crappie.
Yeah. He's caught the two biggest crappies I've seen. You caught one in Cowanesque last year. That was 2.7 or 2.8, right?
That was I can't remember what that was.
It
was a nice one.
Yeah.
So you go from Gaston, and then it's about a month and a half to your Cowanesque trip.
4 weeks.
Yep. Well, we say Cowanesque trip, but it's actually there's 3 big lakes up in in the Mansfield area that you guys fish.
Yeah. Cowanesque, Hammond, and Tioga.
Yeah, it's fairly recent because that was when we started renting the house on Cowanesque.
Yeah.
And, concentrating on those lakes. But for a pretty good stretch there, we were fishing Cowanesque and staying at camp.
Yeah, we used to stay at camp. Then we'd fish Stevenson some. We'd fish Cowanesque, and we'd even go. Where else did we go?
Well, I remember Lyman. There was a good merganser bite the one day.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody catch a merganser before. Bob caught one on a Ned bug or what was
it? It was a little TRD crawl. And he thumped that thing like a big old bass, and I set the hook, and that thing came up flopping. I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Luckily, it got off. We didn't have to deal with that mess in the boat.
So yeah, the merganser bite was hot that day.
And then we went to Stevenson and caught a 6-pounder on.
You caught a 6-pounder on a Stevenson, and the water was cloudy.
Yeah.
Might be the muddiest I ever saw that lake, and it was up.
Yeah.
And the fish were biting.
Were we there because they closed Cowanesque, or did we just?
I think
to take a break?
that maybe they did close Cowanesque.
I can't remember.
I'm wondering if Cowanesque was really muddy that year. We thought, we'll go to Stevenson, it'll be clear, and then we got down there and it wasn't.
The fishing was good. I remember you started off with a chili bowl and immediately started catching fish.
Yeah. Throw a crankbait right away, and I immediately caught. I had bites essentially in the first couple casts.
Yeah.
And then that pattern held all day. And we were the only ones in the lake, too, I think.
Only idiots out there.
Yeah. There were major storms. I say major storms, but I remember it was raining. We were fishing between rainstorms, and it was really hot. It was funny because we went down that bank one direction and we slammed them. Mm-hmm. And then we went back and didn't catch a thing. And I don't know if it's because the rain blew through or it was just having that different direction that you were throwing them. I don't know. It was really weird how that worked out. But it was really good that first stretch going through there. Caught a lot of nice fish.
Staying at camp's nice, but it's a 45-minute drive to camp.
It's more like an hour and 10, hour and 15 to the Cowanesque.
To the big lakes. So.
And it gets, the drive there is always great because you're excited to go fishing. And then the drive home is always like, oh boy, this really stinks. All I want to do is go to sleep.
You also, you really have to get up at 4 if you want to be there for daylight. Yeah. Where if you're staying on the lakes, it's 5:15.
We can't do that anymore anyway.
No. I remember when you came up in that first June trip to Cowanesque, I think you were sleeping on a couch. I still had my room. Nobody else was in there, but we'd get up at dark. It was 4:30. We'd go out. That one morning we went out through the lake and it was black,
pitch black. Couldn't see anything.
No,
we didn't have any headlights on the boat.
We were just motoring down through that lake.
We just knew where we were going.
Yep, we knew exactly where we were going. Because I think did you have a graph that?
Yeah, we might have had a GPS graph.
We just went bombing down through there, ticking away, just green weenie, just flying down. We fished for a little while, and then we look up. I don't know at what point it got to be pretty late in the morning. We look up through the lake, and there's these huge trees just floating in the water. I don't know how we didn't hit something.
Yeah, we're lucky we didn't die.
It was
actually, I think we debated, is that a boat out there? I think I said to you. I'm like, he's like, I don't know. Then we eventually drove through, holy crap, that's an entire tree.
These giant flooded trees that washed down into the lake. It was crazy. Those were the dark to dark days.
Yeah, we used to fish from. We'd put in a 14-hour day, go back, eat something, go to sleep, get up, and put in a 14-hour day. I can't do it anymore.
I barely do 6 to 8 hours now. Split up over a couple different times a day. Yeah, it's
what if you had to pick one lure to fish with, Bob? If it was okay, I'm allowed to have one bait for let's just even say just for one trip. Or the rest of your let's put it this way. If you had to pick one bait to fish with for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Can I throw it in a couple of different configurations?
I guess so.
Okay, so I'm going to say a TRD.
Just a stick.
Just a TRD, little 3-inch.
Right. Yeah, you started drop shotting those.
I started drop shot, and I really like that. That's been a lot of fun. But yeah, with that you can throw. 95% of the time you throw a Ned rig, but drop shotting, it catches. I've had a pretty good spring with that. Even last fall when I was playing around in Canada.
Yeah, you caught fishing in Canada last year. I would have to pick a popper.
Yeah, popper's pretty much fun.
Even if it doesn't catch fish, that'd be it for me.
Yeah, that's definitely the confidence bait for me. I can't. I don't go anywhere without one now.
No.
But, I didn't throw Did we throw poppers at Cowanesque this year at all?
I threw them a little bit.
I don't think I even threw.
I threw them a little bit in. I didn't throw them. I don't know if I threw them at Cowanesque because the water was so cloudy. I threw them at Hammond.
Yeah.
I think I caught one or two. Yeah, you were with. I caught a bass.
Yeah. One of them you caught
Topwater.
a couple.
Yeah.
I think you got the little pickerel off the point there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go with a TRD. It's just, and there's, I mean, you know how much I love throwing a jig too. The TRD is catches everything, and they love it. Remember that big muskie I caught on an egg rig one time? Yeah, that was quite a fight.
Yeah.
Got a nice muskie on crappie gear this year, right in the tip of the beak.
That's right. You did. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, we've seen some magical stuff fishing together. I remember. I think the first time was we used to fish Blue Marsh before.
Yeah, I haven't fished that much lately.
Yeah, we take the green weenie out for a test run just to make sure it was running.
Make sure it's still ticking.
And I watched this guy. We were back in, I forget which cove it was.
I don't know. They don't have names for them there.
But we were throwing tubes, and I watched him break a fish off. He's like, "Oh man!" We go down the bank. I don't know, 75 to 100 yards. He catches his fish. He's like, "Oh, there's my tube!" And right there, he pulled a tube out, and I was like, "This bass followed the boat the whole way down the bank and ate his tube."
Didn't you have one you ripped off and you caught it the next day?
Yeah, that was
That
Raystown.
That was Raystown.
I'm gonna. This is where
I
I
even
said, Bob.
told-
This is where I get my.
I said to him, I ripped a fish off in a tree, a bass. I knew it was a fish. It was in the top of a tree at Raystown. And the next day, with the same exact bait, same setup,
Same
color, same everything, I got to that tree and said, "I'm going to get my bait back, Bob." And sure enough, didn't I catch that fish and get my bait back?
Do you remember on Stevenson when you were stuck in that bush down by the dam?
Yeah,
And you were sitting there whipping the rod, and the fish came out of the water.
completely out of the
and
water.
ate his bait off of the bush. And he
And
caught
got-
the fish. He landed the fish. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just don't understand.
I've
how
seen
it
him do
happens.
that with trout fishing already.
It's
Where he
crazy.
gets hung up in something. He's like, I'll just. And then
Oh no, he was like stuck. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get
yeah,
out
like
of
it
the
was
tube.
ready to
right.
rip it off, stuck because the fish came up and it was like probably 6-8 inches, a foot out of the water. Bass jumped up and ate it.
And then I had a magical one finally this spring at Gaston.
Yes.
Broke one off. Yep. He broke a fish off in this little point that we were fishing, and it wasn't too far down, but I ended up casting back in there. And he's like, get my bait for me. So I think I forget what you were throwing. Was it even a drop shot?
I probably think it was a drop shot.
It was. And I threw a drop shot up there and caught this fish. I said, "You're not going to believe it." I looked down his throat, and there's his bait sitting right there in his throat. So that was.
So how long? So after your Cowanesque trip, you guys throughout the summer will catch up here and there to fish. Some a little harder with
A little
kids,
bit,
and
yeah, it's tough.
but then you always make time for Canada in the fall.
Yeah. I used to go to Canada, spring and fall for a few years, and then, you just get older, get more responsibility, you just don't have that much time to take off. And so I really got close with a group of guys up there, and they like to do a little tournament in September. So they like to go pretty much after the peak season. There's not many people up there, and fishing's still pretty good. It's a little tougher than it is in the summer. But
not much.
It's the weather seems to affect them a little more, and they can shut off pretty good, but it's still excellent fishing. So we really started going up there to hang out with those guys, and just that group of guys is just so much fun to be up there with. Because I had done a couple trips without them, and it's not quite the same without those guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did take the family up there last year, and they loved it. That was a lot of fun. We had a great time getting the kids on fish, and had a little pontoon boat going around, and it's just floating around weed beds and just catching fish everywhere. That was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, we don't do a lot of fishing in the summertime. It just gets so hot.
There's never anything going. There's always something going on too.
Yeah.
It seems like, I get out or you get out, but we don't get out there together as much as I mean, and definitely the more kids we both have, the harder it is to get together to fish on the weekends. All of your two are playing sports, or Callie's got something going on with soccer.
Yep.
And unless we really plan a trip where we are leaving leaving the area,
Yeah.
it's hard for us to really spend too much time together. Now, you still get out some on the weekends and go fish from.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
fish from the bank.
Go fish from the bank at the river, or Pinchot or somewhere. And I get the boat out sometimes. But yeah, and really, Canada was sort of your thing. I think I've been there with you 3 times now.
Yeah. Yep. We went 2003 was the first time, and then we
Yeah.
went in 2019.
Yeah,
just for
it was that
those few
long
days.
till I went again.
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was something you did
No.
most years.
Well,
Bob did that has done that.
Well, I
for-
knew that, but I thought you'd been there.
No.
and the
5 or
reason
6
I think most of the time is because
times.
the time I went to Canada was the time you guys were going to the beach. You guys
Yes.
went down to
Mm,
It's a time of year that we often go down to fish at Chesapeake.
I got
So
in
they
September.
overlapped, and he's always been bugging me to go. He's always wanted, especially to fish a tournament. He's like, "You got to come and fish a tournament."
yeah.
So finally, last year, I did go up with you to fish a tournament, and we had a pretty good tournament.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
We won pretty handily in the end.
Yeah, I think we had it pretty well wrapped up, and then catching a 4:14 at 8:30 in the morning on the last day. It was like, well, we can go back and get some breakfast and take a nap if we want to. But even before that, he had a 3.5 pound smallmouth in there, and that's catching a 3 to 4 pounder. You pretty much won that day. We were on a pretty good pattern. We found some nice fish.
We were in second after day one.
Yep.
And then leading by 2 or 3 ounces after day 2, and then like a pound or a pound and a half after day 3,
Yeah.
and then we won by like 6 pounds
Like
or
6
7 pounds or
Yeah,
something.
it was
I don't,
ridiculous.
might not have been quite that much, but it was a lot
It was a 14. We had 14.2 on the last day
for 4
for
fish.
4 fish, and I've never seen a bag that big. I mean, that was awesome up there. That's the thing. Like there's so many small fish. You get 2.5 pounds. You got to average 2.5 to be in the running. But
We ended up averaging. Well, that day we averaged almost 3.5.
Yeah.
On top of that, I think that possibly the best smallmouth topwater bite I've ever seen. We found there was some sort of bug hatch.
Yep.
And if you could throw a popper where they made a ripple in the water to eat whatever, I don't even know what the bugs were. They must have been tiny.
Yeah.
If you could get a popper in there within a couple of seconds of them making a ripple, you could call your shots.
It was incredible. And we found it totally by accident.
Yeah. We're like, what's those little ripples in the water over there?
Yeah, because we were fishing one side of the lake, and I was like, let's go check out this other spot, just because we weren't doing really well. We did really well in practice day at that spot, and we were like, oh man, and we visited it and didn't catch anything. After that practice day, we didn't catch anything. So it's like, well, let's go back across the lake and try this spot. Usually, it's a pretty good point. And as we were driving over, Matt's like, look at that, there's fish hitting on top. So we kind of eased up over to him, and he caught a fish or two. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then we kept seeing more action out there, but it was so funny, like they weren't exploding on top like you normally see, like these vicious, big swirls or something. I thought they were bait fish. It's just this little bitty ripple. Like you couldn't tell there's a 3 pounder under there making this. They just come up and just.
Yeah, I'm guessing whatever it was they were actually eating before it got to the surface.
Yeah.
And and all that they were seeing was you were just seeing the very tips of their dorsal fins touching the top of the water.
Yep.
And it would be like this one little ring, not like a splash, just one little ring that would slowly get bigger.
But if you got your popper in that ring, it was vicious.
Oh, they destroyed it.
They reacted totally different to a popper. I mean, they were just. It was.
We must. I would guess we found that bite at 6:00 at night, and I would bet from then till dark we caught 50 to 60 bass.
It was incredible
in 2 hours on topwater, and it was to the point where like. We'd take turns casting at the ripples, but sometimes while the other guy had a fish on, or he's throwing up here, you'd see one ripple behind the boat, and you'd just turn around and cast out the back.
Oh, you weren't even blind casting; you were waiting for.
No, you would wait.
You didn't want to waste a cast.
No, we got to a point they weren't relating to anything. You were over 3 feet of water or 25 feet of water.
It didn't matter.
We were using a trolling motor. It was like like bone fishing or something. Yeah. You're watching for these. You wouldn't make a cast because if you made a cast, you saw a ripple right by the boat, you didn't have a chance. Because you had to get it in there in a certain amount of time. Only a few seconds while that school was there. And if you saw multiple ripples, it got even worse. I think there were multiple fish down there fighting for it. But my God, that was just incredible. I've never seen anything like it. But just trolling around chasing bass all night. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was an incredible bite. That's a hopefully not a once in a lifetime, because the next evening we went out and tried it again, and it was okay, but not the same. We definitely, like, that first night was really, really good, and then it slowly got a little less.
Yeah. Even the morning, well, you caught the 3.5 pounder the next morning in the same area.
I think that bite was probably going on all night, to be honest.
And looking back, I think it was going on for a couple days before.
And we didn't realize
and
it.
we didn't
Because I remember seeing the ripples. And
Yep.
and
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember that morning we were fishing topwaters. I saw something eating out off the island, and I lost that fish. I didn't catch it, but it was the same type of deal. It just
You threw to a ripple.
I threw to it, and he got off. But had we known, we could have loaded the boat in about 10 minutes and just
went back for breakfast.
So much fun, though. So much fun.
Yeah.
So, Bob, do you have one trip that stands out in the years you guys have been fishing together? Is there
Boy, that's tough.
like a favorite memory, a favorite?
It's hard to pick just one. There's just so many good memories. I mean, I always looked at Cowanesque as like our big fish trip of the year, and we always caught our biggest fish. We didn't catch quite as many, but I'd say one of my most memorable days at Cowanesque was the muskie year when we saw.
Yes.
There were muskies everywhere. I think we saw
You
11.
caught them on top.
And you were catching them on top water. Remember, I had that little bass hooked off of the point, and I was reeling this little foot-long bass in, and this huge muskie came up.
Yeah,
and
like
took
a
swipe at it.
4-footer. He actually didn't take a swipe at it.
He
He
ate
tried to bite it in half.
He did. The fish was dead by the time it came up. There were tooth marks on the side. The little bass was sitting there twitching. I'm like, oh, he's done. But I mean, I thought I was going to have to deal with that big giant muskie. But that one stood out just because it was incredible muskie fishing that day. And then, of course, the stripers. I mean, it was just
that was unfortunately another scenario where that was going on for days before that.
Yep.
And finally, one after an evening, we just happened to be in that area.
Yep.
We had seen bait fish blowing up in there and never got bites, and sort of, I don't know what we thought it was.
I thought they were carp.
Yeah,
swirling.
just carp jumping,
Yep,
carp
I thought they were
swirling.
carp.
And then I think you caught the first one.
Yeah. Me and your dad went down to that point.
And it was just, that was another one. Top water, 15 to 20 pound stripers on bass tackle.
That was incredible. And we did that for a couple days. And I think we did that.
The next year we actually caught some.
Yep, we did it for 2
And
days.
then the third year, I think we only caught one, and now they don't seem to be doing it anymore. I don't know if it's just happened to be that the wrong time of year.
Numbers might be down.
Yeah. I think probably I don't know. There's so many.
There's so many. The
so
crappie
many.
trip was magical. I
Yeah.
mean, that was incredible.
The first 6-pounder really sticks out to me.
That's a big one. Yeah, I remember that. You got that 6.9 off
Off the damn
off
rocks.
the wall. Yep.
Yeah.
On a tube.
On a tube. I often wonder, thinking back to when we started back in 2002, 2003, and we didn't weigh fish because we didn't have a scale.
Yeah.
Scales weren't really something that, most anglers kept on the boat. And I remember measuring fish sometimes, but we never weighed them.
Yeah. I remember. So the only one I remember weighing was when Mike was fishing. Remember Mike's buddy Ed came up.
No, he had
year
a
or two,
scale.
and he had a scale. I was like, I think you had caught like a big one. I said, he's got like a 6-pounder, and he weighed it, and it was still pretty nice.
It was
quite a 6.
Was it
five?
five low fives?
Yeah.
And I often wonder, looking back now, how many 5 to 6-pounders did we catch, not knowing how big they really were.
Yeah.
And I think in those early years, the fishing was better than it is now.
Yeah.
I think that the lake didn't get fished. We often would be there in May, and there wouldn't be a soul. We'd have a whole week, and we'd be lucky if we see one other boat, and they were probably muskie fishing.
Yeah, they were out trolling for muskies. And then for a while, we saw a couple muskie guys and then a couple crappie guys. But nobody.
You tell people you're bass fishing, they'd laugh at you.
Yeah.
Bass fishing? There's no bass in this lake. I'm like, okay, you keep thinking that.
And they figured it out.
Yeah, now it's different. Now there's definitely competition, and there's even in bad weather, there's other people fishing, and it's definitely gotten more popular. But I still have. That trip's going to happen every year till I die if I can make it happen.
That's having multiple lakes. That's another big thing about that area is you've got 3 pretty decent lakes there. Because there's been days when they won't touch a thing at Cowanesque, and we'll go to another one, and they are just on fire. I mean, it's just like, why were we wasting our time?
That's right. This year, Cowanesque was tough, and Hammond was pretty good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this year, Tioga never was fishable.
No, we just couldn't get to it.
It was closed. It was chocolate milk.
I didn't really want to take the boat through the minefield of that no wake zone because you don't know what washed down there a week or two before when it was flooded out.
And you guys have had to adjust to some of your spoons. There are a couple of years where you end up going to Raystown because the lakes were not fishable.
Yeah, it seems, and I don't remember that until the last 5 to 10 years. But I mean, I remember the first time I don't remember what year it was, but I want to say it was 2013.
Yeah, I kind of had to talk you into going to Raystown.
I was pretty angry that day because we got up there that night. I don't think we fished that night.
No, we got up there and the lake closed.
Yep.
The night, like we got up there, stayed overnight, woke up in the morning, and the lake was closed.
Yep. I was pretty grumpy that morning. I was really grumpy. That was bad.
And I said, "Let's go to Raystown." You're like, "Oh." And finally, they're like, "Fine." So we went to Raystown, and Poppy was with us that year.
No, it was just.
That was the next year.
Nope, that was.
Oh yeah, you're right. That might have been the year I caught the fish the next day on the.
That's the trip.
On the Hagnado.
That's when I got the kidney stone the first night.
Oh, I forgot about the kidney stone in the boat.
How could you forget the kidney stone?
Well, I remember it all, but I forgot that was that trip.
That was that night when we got there. We were catching them. We were like, "Oh, this is great." I had this pain in my side. I'm like, man, what is going on? I never had that. So I went up in the woods and tried a couple things, and got back in the boat. And I'm just laying on the back deck. I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" Poor Matt's like, "I don't know what to do."
I'm like, "Should we let's take you to the hospital?" Bob's like, "No."
No.
Let's go to the hospital, Bob. No.
No.
Emergency room, Bob. No. Keep fishing. I did. I kept fishing. And then you pissed that kidney stone out that night, right?
Night, yeah, overnight. Like I woke up in the morning and 4 or 5 in the morning. I was like, "There's no more pain." There she went, ting, right off the toilet. I was good to go. I remember that guy. He had an Astro like mine, and he was asking me about the gas tank. And I was trying to be nice to him and be like, "Yeah, you got to do this and that." And I was like, "I think I got a kidney stone. We got to go." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Poor guy.
Yeah, he pissed that kidney stone out, and we stayed and fished the rest of it. Did you go to the doctor once you got home?
I think so. I think just to
That's called dedication, Bob.
Yeah.
Or stupidity. I don't know.
Yeah, that was something. Good memories.
So do you guys have anywhere like you have discussed or planned or hope to get? Like, is there a?
We keep. I definitely would really like to get up and fish the St. Lawrence or the Thousand Islands area, and we keep talking about it. It never seems to happen.
Yeah, it's hard to. Because I did that trip 3 years ago now
with the family,
and that was a lot of fun. And it took me a couple days to find them, but once I found them, it was awesome. Like, it was incredible. And nothing. It's not one after another. I'd go through spots and around certain islands where you could tell they were grouped up and catch a handful, but it's big water. It's really big water up there. So you're at risk of, planning a trip like that. Most of the lakes we go to, if it gets windy, we can at least get out of it. But that's a big body of water. It's hard to believe how big it is until you get out there.
Was that on the St. Lawrence?
Yeah, on the St. Lawrence.
I have a good friend, Matt Gowdy, and he fishes the St. Lawrence every year. He's up there, and they catch footballs. Just absolute footballs.
It's incredible.
But
those goby eaters are just footballs. It's crazy.
But yeah, I know. Like, I think this year he had some trouble with wind. It was pretty rough. Yeah, pretty rough trip. What about down south, like Gunnersville or Okeechobee or?
I personally would like to go on a trip somewhere where we have a chance of catching like 10-pounders. Yeah, but I don't know that it's I don't know that something I guess probably once I went and did it once, I'd want to go back. I feel like I'd like to go to somewhere where I have a chance of breaking that 10-pound mark. And you're not going to do that in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
All the years we've been fishing, the biggest, I've got a 6'10", you've got a 6'9", and we have multiple 6, ones and twos.
Poppy,
and
I think Dad caught the biggest one.
Yeah, he's got one of these.
Before you were there 2 years ago, he had one that was 6'14",
something like that. Yeah, it was
just about 7 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you think the fish have gotten bigger in the last? You say you thought maybe they were, but I feel like it sounds like they are getting bigger.
I think, I guess all the 6-pounders out of Cowanesque really have come in the last probably 10 years. Yeah. But we weren't weighing them much before that either.
I feel like the numbers are way down. I feel like we caught a lot more little fish back 20 years ago. And, you caught a lot more, half pound to 1 pound, the future of the fishery. And we kind of rejoice now when we catch a little bitty dink because we don't see too many. I don't know if it's the time of year or what we're throwing. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like we don't see many little bitty fish. So I feel like the numbers are down. The quality's still there, obviously. There's still some big fish.
Right.
Hunter caught up, what was that, a 6'2" last fall?
Yeah, 6 in a tournament.
Yeah. So there's still some big ones in there. I don't know. It's hard to tell what's going on because it's been so weird with all the flooding the last few years, and
Yeah.
We've had weird years where it gets really warm really early, and I don't know how that affects the fish. But it feels like we've had a rough stretch for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I would say Cowanesque has definitely been much tougher the last 4 or 5 years, and I think when that happens, I think that's been pretty consistently tough. We just start fishing the other lakes.
Yeah.
So I don't know then sometimes, if we were on Cowanesque, would have we had a better day today? I don't know because we're on Tioga.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's more northern lakes. I'd like the Thousand Islands again. Black Lake, I know that's a pretty popular one. But even like some of the Finger Lakes up there, they have some giant bass in Cayuga. I mean, that's phenomenal. Largemouth and smallmouth. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I don't know if I'd have time. I'd hate to take away from one of the trips I already have planned to risk going to a new place and try to learn a new lake because it takes a while.
Yeah.
I'd almost, if we're going to do a trip like that, I'd like to get a guide for the first day to really get a feel for where to go, what to throw, what the pattern is and stuff. Because, Gaston, we know it pretty well now, but it's taken 6-7 years to really understand what's going on.
That first year in Gaston, what I remember that is we might have caught a dozen fish in 4 days, 3 days.
Yeah, it was tough.
Now, we also went earlier then.
Yeah.
We've moved that trip back a couple weeks, and that's made a big difference.
Yeah.
And the spotted bass population has exploded. So we were fishing largemouths, and I think there weren't a ton of spots. I remember catching a spot or two in that trip, but they were all like 10 inches long.
Yeah.
And now we're catching some, really nice ones.
Yeah, a lot more of the 2.5 pound class. I mean, and they're like smallmouth. They're tough. They fight. Super aggressive.
And more for my own personal information here, Bob. Have you done any saltwater fishing?
I've done a little. So we went to New Jersey.
We did go to New Jersey.
Yeah.
We caught stingrays.
Yep.
Big giant
Yep,
stingrays.
giant stingrays.
We all caught one, I think. That's all we needed to catch.
Is that the only saltwater fishing you've ever done?
So no, we went to Virginia Beach one year. I did some surf fishing. I caught a flounder in the surf then.
What'd you catch that time in New Jersey other than that big ray?
We caught some blues. And I don't know if I even caught that blue. I think we just passed the rod around because it was a big giant ray it wore me out. I was ready to pass the rod around and let somebody else crank on it. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of saltwater. I've done some surf fishing.
We've tried to get Bob down.
He's invited every year.
I do have a big giant boat for it.
I know, and that's the problem. I feel like I've already got enough tackle now with fresh.
You don't need any tackle.
That's not how it works. Once I get into it, I'm going full bore.
You're just afraid you're going to get addicted. That's what you're saying.
Afraid, yeah.
And I keep telling Bob, you go down there, and especially in September, which September's tough because you are always in Canada, and you go and fish for the reds. It's like bass fishing. We're fishing the same style of casting some sort of artificial lure around, slightly different baits, but a lot of paddle-tailed swim baits.
Yeah, we fish for smallmouths in the spring. We fish Z-Man 4-inch. What are the diesel minnows? I think they are. We're using cacao candy there. Yeah. But that's exactly, they're the same jigs. They're same. Everything's the same. I fish for trout and redfish.
I would probably enjoy it, and I think that's a big reason I like bass fishing. So I like that tackle. I like the fact you can do a little heavier stuff with bigger jigs and whatever, and then you can really dial back and do light stuff and throw really light baits and do because I do a lot more finesse stuff now. That's what I'm throwing most of the time. It's rare for me to power fish, but I enjoy the tackle that you use to catch bass. So I would probably enjoy reds and trout and stuff like that. I
would say you enjoy the tackle as much as you enjoy the fishing.
I definitely do.
How describe your basement?
Ooh, man, it's kind of like walking down Bass Pro aisles with all the pegboards and all the tackle just lining the walls of the basement, and then there's boxes of stuff in the middle where I can't fit it on the board. So
if you tied on a different bait, if you took a bait and fished it one cast, and then switched baits, how long do you think you could fish before you ran out of baits options?
At least 320 years. My great-great-grandkids will never need tackle. I own an embarrassing amount of tackle. It's pretty wild.
How about did he get you your glide bait yet? He's going to buy
No,
two of those $1,200
I tried to get him
baits.
to buy me one of them. I said he had to buy two so I could try one, but he didn't do it.
No.
Oh,
Have you guys
man.
thrown glide baits yet? Have you gotten any of the?
Not really, no. I'll do swim baits, some bigger swim baits, but I don't do the big. We don't really, I don't know. I don't feel like we live in an area, and I know I'm totally wrong. There's probably guys that throw glide baits and catch monsters around here, but it's just, I would get tired of throwing a big, however many ounce glide bait it is, so 5 or 6 ounce.
Yeah. Any other topics you guys want to broach? What's your go-to? You're a Loomis guy, right?
Yeah, I like my Loomis rods. Yeah, like Loomis rods and Shimano reels. It's hard to, once I found that, I dipped my toe into that little pond. It was over. I do like the Loomis stuff.
I'm a St. Croix guy.
Yeah. And Shimano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to fish Daiwa a lot and really switched to Shimano. I had a lot of problems with the Daiwa stuff that I don't have a lot of problems with them in freshwater. I have a lot of stuff. I started having problems with them in saltwater, where I'm fishing. Sometimes it's the same reel, even the same rod that I might, some medium spinning tackle that I might use for bass that I'll take down and throw for reds. And with Daiwa, I just kept having reels seize up on me. They didn't handle the saltwater very well, even though they claim to be saltwater rated.
Mm-hmm.
And Shimano's, I have zero issues. So I'm probably not cleaning them properly when I get them home as part of the problem, but who does that?
Well, I do. Every single time.
It's funny how fishermen get, locked into a certain brand, or, there's just that loyalty to one thing, and you stick with it when it works. You just stick with it. So
Yeah.
it's funny how fussy we can get about our tackle.
Yeah.
Specific hooks and baits and everything.
One of these years, I'll get Bob down to saltwater fish.
Yeah.
He catches one sheep's head out there on a kidney bean or something. That'll be the end of it.
You think what's the biggest sunfish you've ever caught?
Oh boy, does that include crappie or just
Sunfish?
bluegill?
I don't think crappie's quite as good as a bluegill does. Do you?
I don't know. Probably not, actually.
I don't know that I've caught a giant bluegill.
You caught some big shell crackers, though.
There's some nice shell crackers down in Gaston. I mean, they're as big as your hand. I never weighed one. I mean, they gotta be over a pound.
I mean, a sheep's head is basically like a 10-pound, and it just, and you fight them. Like one of the things like with bass, and everybody has their own likes. Is like a bass fights for whatever, it gets to the boat, and then the fight's over. Like a sheep's head, you get pull. You finally get it to the boat, and it sees that boat. It gets to a foot of water, and then it's another fight again, and it's just a big one, especially And I mean, it just And same with the reds. I mean, reds just when you've hooked a red because it just starts rip and drag like crazy.
Yeah, I know. I would like it. I would enjoy it. It's just finding that time. Like I said, I'm gonna have to sacrifice something,
right? Yeah,
and find that time to go.
Yeah,
1 year.
Yeah, just don't sacrifice your marriage for it.
Is that a little tidbit of information from Matt? Life advice from Matt.
That's right. Don't get married, don't have kids. Matt Gowdy seems to be the only one that listens to me, and I don't even know the guy.
Oh, man. Well, Bob, we really appreciated you doing this.
Yeah, this was fun. It was fun to talk about this stuff.
Oh, I know what I wanted to...
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to talk about was, as speaking of you not losing your cool, was the bear story.
Ah, the bear story, yes.
You're not getting angry.
No, that was that's a great memory.
We got back. That was the first. So we drove up in the morning. We fished.
Yep.
You and I.
Yep.
Till check-in, I think it was, and we were going to go back out in the evening.
Yep.
We were both pretty gassed because we had left.
Yeah, we left it. I don't know.
Early.
3 or 4
Because you were working at the Square D, I think, at that point.
Yeah,
so I think you worked a shift, got off, and then came to my house in Pine Grove.
Yep.
Picked me up. We went up, and we had all snacks in the boat, and we're tired. We'd fished most of the day, and Bob goes, "You think we should take these snacks out of the boat?" I think I was like, "Yeah, that'll be all right."
What's the worst that can happen?
Went in, laid down for a nap, and then did they call us?
No, I went out that next morning. So, I plugged the boat in and got it charged and everything. I had my extension cords going out and everything. And I went out the next morning, and I remember seeing hatches open. I'm like, what in world? At first I thought somebody was like, they took my batteries or something. I'm like, man, who took stuff out of the boat? I start looking around, there's mud everywhere. And there's, all the hatches are opened and, everything's still plugged in. I look at all the batteries, everything is in there. And then I look in the live, because we were storing the snacks in the live well. And the live wells were empty. And there was this little box of, like the empty box of Entenmann's, whatever it was, like a honey bun or some kind of, whatever it was laying on the ground a few feet away. And I start looking at the mud and there's these paw prints all over the boat. And these bears, so apparently it was a mama and 2 cubs got in there. And they just went through everything, and they tried ripping everything apart. And I got really lucky. She didn't tear up too much. I had a little scratch on the driver's seat, which I was able to glue that together.
Little pinholes or something on the driver's seat.
Yep. And then they tried to
have pictures of it though.
Somebody had pictures, and I tried to get pictures for years. I never actually saw them myself.
Oh, okay.
But I remember asking, like, "Hey, can we get?" Because somebody at the lodge there had the pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something. Those bears, they wanted those honey buns really bad, so they got them. I think they put a little hole in my tonneau cover and stuff because they started going through the truck. They were looking at stuff in the truck too. But no, that was something. That was really cool.
And that was like 6 months into owning that boat.
Yeah. That's a cool story. It could have been much worse.
It could have been much worse. I felt bad.
No, don't feel bad. It's a good memory. The bears are, I guess they're almost as bad as the raccoons up in Canada. I started locking my stuff up in Canada because one morning I came out and there were granola wrappers on the bank. I was like, this is like my granola bars. And I had this box of like donuts, little mini donuts in the one locker. And me and my father-in-law were out fishing. And I said, hey, do you want a donut? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I went to reach in there. There's this empty box of donuts. I was like, those raccoons got in here and ate all of our snacks, those little rascals. They were crawling around all the compartments. So I lock all the compartments now. So all the time.
That's good advice. De-snack your boat when you're in bear country and raccoon country.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
So, as always, you can follow us along on Instagram. That's at Outdoor Rules. We're on Facebook as well. And then all the podcasts can be listened to also at outdoorrules.com. That's also where we post some stories and some photos and recipes, stuff we found we like. Hope you follow along. Thanks, guys.
Hunting and fishing, the great outdoors, mixing history, laughter, love, and folklore, creating memories with family and friends. These are the trophies that matter in the end. Outdoor Rules.